This is the 365 Days of Multi-Level Marketing Journey to Freedom podcast with Rome Batchelor, where Rome shares his daily journey from down and out to total financial freedom in 1 year, along with pro tips, tricks, strategies, and tools to help you join in on the journey. Now, here's Rome with today's Journey to Financial Freedom podcast.
So we've been talking a lot about your own efforts, your own results, goal setting, getting a coach or someone that can help you see clearly what you need to do next to advance your business, and prospecting, both tools that we use for leads and prospecting. We've talked about wording, such as the sequence of words, using the word because, using the affirmative no in your prospecting versus the affirmative yes, which split studies show you'll get a higher result. That's in some of the earlier podcasts. We talked about yesterday about low pressure prospecting, where you're not putting a lot of emotional gas in every phone call or in every approach. You're actually nonchalant because you don't want to raise resistance. You want to have so many leads that you don't really care because you're in a hurry to get to them all from that day's supply of leads. And you don't care if they say yes or no. You want to say yes, but you really don't care, and you don't have time to convince them, right? So you use a smart approach and a low emotional commitment in your energy to what they say, because you're not selling, you're just offering, right? And then you're increasing your response in prospecting. So every time you bring somebody in new, you're building by addition. See, network marketing is superior than the traditional business model because obviously it has low risk, low startup cost. You don't have to meet a big number every month right off the bat just to pay the bills. But in addition to that, and if it fails, which most of them do, then you don't have all that debt to pay back in network marketing like a traditional business. However, there's another reason, and it might even be bigger and more important than that, as to why network marketing is a superior business model than the traditional business. Because the traditional business runs an ad, hires salespeople, does a marketing campaign to get customers to sign that contract or to walk in the door one at a time. It's building by addition. And with a lot of massive energy and some smart approach and a great offer, you can actually make a living building in a traditional business by a whole bunch of addition, but that's where it stops typically. Whereas in network marketing, you're building by multiplication. See, you're bringing in people and then they go out and do the same thing and it explodes. However, the problem is that looks good on paper, but most of the time it doesn't happen. You bring in 10 people and you're the only one doing anything. That's what's typical. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes you're fortunate, but typically that's what happens. And you're like, where is this duplication? Where is this magic that's supposed to happen? I don't see it happening. Why not? What's wrong? This just might not work for me. And that's what people sometimes think and feel. And there's a reason for it. So back to what we were saying about multiplication versus addition, often there's a delay in the result. Sometimes it just takes a little more time. For example, 2 plus 2 equals 4. And 2 times 2 equals the same 4. Same result. Same result. But then you carry that a little further, and 2 plus the 4 equals 6, but 2 times the 4 now equals 8. A noticeable 25% difference, but now it just expands from there because you add another 2 to your 6 and now you're at 8, but you multiply that 8 and now you're at 16. You've got double the result with the same energy by using a different approach. Carry it one more time just for illustration, because the gap expands further and further in time. It becomes no contest. Now, 16 times 2 is 32, but 8 plus 2 is 10. So when you're building by multiplication, now it's more than 3 times the result. Same energy, different business model. But yet in the beginning, it was the exact same result. You didn't see the magic happen initially. So yes, there's a delay building by multiplication. You don't see anything magic happen typically in the very, very start. It looks the same as building by addition, you adding people. Now, keeping that in mind and putting that to the side at the same time, there's a reason why it doesn't happen. See, multiplication happens because of duplication. And duplication happens because there's a law called inertia. And that law of inertia says things that are still tend to stay still. And things that are in motion tend to stay in motion. Things that are still tend to stay still. And things that are in motion tend to stay in motion. So what do you have? Dexter Yeager, the number one earner in the history of this industry and of this profession, has made the statement that he doesn't build with a follow-up program. He builds with a follow-through program. He said, because when I follow up, it implies that I start something, then I stop, and then I start it again. I resume. And I stop, and then I follow up, and I resume. He said, that's a follow-up program. And every time I stop and start and stop and start, it increases my chances of failure. He said, so I do a follow-through program, which means there's motion going on between my connection with my team. There is something happening in between. Between our conversations, between our meetings, there's something that they're doing that we agree upon and we talk about. It's called an assignment. It's called an assignment. And it's very important for the assignment to be something that is so simple that they can do it quickly for the early, like day one. For example, you can start giving assignments, and it's recommended to do that before they even join. You don't want to wait till they join to start giving assignments. That's stupid, because you're stopping and hoping to restart and that they don't change their mind and don't actually get in, or do anything. You want there to be a continual flow if you want this magic to happen, called momentum and multiplication through duplication. So you have to have motion going on. The assignment needs to be something, A, that is beneficial, has real value to them. And B, is something they can do between this discussion and the next one, legitimately. And in the beginning, you want to start small and move up to bigger and bigger assignments over time. So from small to big, from small to big, from teeny to big. The first assignment needs to be something that can be done in maybe 20 minutes or so. There's not a set number, but it has to be something they can do hopefully day one. As soon as they say, yeah, I'll look at it, well then when do you think you'll have time to look at it? See, even in the prospecting, you're actually setting the tone for assignments. What problem is when people decide to join, recruiters, sponsors, tend to, novices, amateurs, tend to stop the assignments there and wait for that person to make them rich. That's ridiculous. You have to continue the process. So it might be a training video. It might be a training article. It might be a training website. It might be a checklist. It might be making their list. However, typically the first assignment needs to be something that has real value to them in the form of instruction, encouragement, and building their belief. Instruction, encouragement, and building their belief. It could be watching a product video. It could be watching an upline's training. It could be listening to a recorded training call. It could be reading a small book, an ebook or something. So the assignment needs to be something they can do quickly and follow through. Now, you're not their boss. You're their friend and their coach. You're their friend and their coach. And what you have to do is highlight the importance of doing the task and setting an agreed upon time when they can do it. Jim, you've decided this looks good to you. You said you probably are thinking about joining on Friday. However, man, when I joined, I did it very similar to you. I saw a couple things. I talked to somebody. I was introduced to somebody other than the person that first shared it with me, and I liked the feeling I got. I liked what I heard, and I decided, why not? Why not give it a try? Let's see what happens. I certainly don't have another plan that and I'm open to suggestions. So let's just see. Maybe this can work for me. I'm going to go ahead and get in. Hey, I like the product. That seems pretty cool. How about I get in next Friday, or next week, or day after tomorrow, or tomorrow night. In the meantime, what they did was they suggested that I watch this video. They told me that in this video is the key that's going to make or break the likelihood of my success. And somewhere right in the middle, he says something that is so crucial that it is the biggest key for starting right and increasing my chances of hitting that $10,000 a month in the next 12 months goal that I've set. So it was very important that I did it. And so I did it. I actually did it. And my sponsor wanted me to do it that day, and I was able actually to do it that day. But I got sidetracked and forgotten. He called me back and said, hey, did you do it yet? You didn't get back to me. And I had to go back and watch it. I did it right then, and I called him back. But, I wasn't in the habit of building a business, so I got distracted. So he helped me get through it, and we did it. So I'm going to ask you, when do you think you could do it by? And he's going to say, well, it's probably going to be day after tomorrow, man, or next week. Well, I meant tonight, because this is urgent. This is important. If we're going to make $10,000 next year without the risk of a traditional business, it's not going to happen because we don't do something. We got to do little things, but we got to do little things wisely in a proven way. And I'll never suggest anything that's going to harm you or harm anyone else that you can't do. And if there's something you get stuck on, I'm going to be right here with you along the way. It's okay. We're going to maneuver this together, but it's very important that you watch this video tonight. Or if it's 11 at night, or if they have a baby screaming, a newborn, or somebody's in the hospital, or something crazy is going on that day, I'm going to go on to, how about this time tomorrow night? Can you watch it by then? Once we get an agreed upon time in the closest soon time proximity as possible, I'm going to say, okay, Jim, listen, this is really important. We're looking for leaders that we can develop. And a leader is somebody that does makes commitments and keeps them, and then communicates and takes initiative. They do what they say they're going to do without somebody right there at that moment holding their hand, and they follow through. And when we have a new leader on our team, man, we get so excited about a new leader on our team, man. You wouldn't believe it. So I just I got this gut feeling you're the kind of person that will actually follow through and do it. Many people do not. But the ones that do, we get super excited about, and we put in an extra effort to help them become successful and hit their goals. So it's so important. I think you're going to be one of those ones that actually do it, and I'm looking forward to it. So you're sure you can do it by this time 1 hour from now, or this time tomorrow night? Yes, I can do it. Okay. So when the time comes, guess what happens? I don't get any feedback. Typically, when I do, I'm really excited. So I will call them, hey man, haven't heard from you. I haven't seen any more hurricanes. There's been a share of them this year. Haven't seen any new hurricanes in the news or anything. What's going on? If you got a chance to do it, you can crack a little joke, If that's not your personality, don't do it. And then you call them. You say, when do you think you can do it by? I'm sorry, man, I got distracted. When do you think you can do it by? Can you do it in the next hour? Yeah, I can do it. Can you do it in the next 30 minutes? Sure. Right? And you get them to do it, and you follow through, and then you discuss it. If they haven't, call me then when you're done. If they haven't, you wait 5 additional minutes and you contact them. It shows them you're serious. Even if it's 10 o'clock at night, 10:30 even, you're going to let them know early on it's serious. And here's another novice mistake. You wait till they buy in, or they join, or they get their kit, so to speak, before you start giving the assignments. No. You want to do it day one when they've decided to do this. In fact, when they're looking at it, it's an assignment. Then you give them a second thing to watch and a third thing to watch. And you build up from small to big in assignments, and you follow through. But what you're doing is you're setting a tone that you expect it to be done. And then when they do it, you celebrate them. Man, I knew you were the one. I knew you were the one I could partner with. I knew you were the one person that's got that those leadership traits. You took initiative, you followed through, and you communicated. Man, that's awesome. I can't wait to tell our other upline, right? Our other leaders that you did that. Man, we can't wait. We're going to help you. Man, this is going to be fun. So you celebrate. You even maybe bring in the other upline right then to celebrate that they did it. Make it a big deal. And you know what will happen? you're reinforcing the right behaviors, and you're getting them to think like an entrepreneur rather than an employee mentality. And that will build you duplication. And in time, then the next assignment might be, another thing or an event or make your list or whatever it is your process is. But you got to go from teeny to bigger and bigger and bigger. And you don't have to keep getting bigger. You can get to a point where it's just reasonable assignments eventually from week to week and month to month and quarter to quarter, because they're making money and they're growing, they're happy and excited, and there'll be a constant flow of energy, a constant movement, and that is called inertia. And things that are in motion tend to stay in motion, and the faster they go, the faster they tend to continue to go. So with that, tomorrow we're going to cover, okay, I've got some duplication, but I've had people quit, right? I've got duplication. People are getting in. I've sponsored people, but they're quitting. Even some people are not duplicating, and before they get a chance to see it work, they quit. What do I do to keep people in? What's the number one step to keep them in and keep them going along in a forward motion so that they can eventually become leaders if they fail you in the beginning and they don't do their assignment, but they like the product and the business, but they're not quite ready? What do you do with those people, and how do you keep the general group in a positive forward motion? That's the secret tomorrow. Can't wait to share with you what I think might be the biggest secret of them all when it comes to leadership. This is the first step. Tomorrow's the even bigger one. With that, this is Rome Bachelor, and I challenge you, I invite you to join in your own journey with me over the next 365 days to buy your life back and become a free-minded, emotional, spiritual, and financially independent human being that's not controlled, and own your life and wake up to the potential that it has in the next 12 months.
Thank you for sharing today's 365 Days of MLM to Freedom podcast. And remember to email your questions and comments directly to Rome at 365daysofmlm@gmail.com. And until next time, we want to encourage you to join in on the journey.